Health and its failure. As we know that a cell is the basic unit of life. It contains chemical substances like proteins, carbohydrates, fats or lipids. These cells together form the tissue, which then forms an organ. What will happen if the muscle does not function properly? Well, it would be difficult to move the body. Under such conditions, the brain will not be able to work properly. This is because all the activities are interconnected. For the proper growth and functioning of all organs of the body, energy is required, which can be obtained from the food. Anything that prevents proper functioning of cells and tissues will lead to a lack of proper activity of the body. Significance of health. Let us now understand what exactly health is. Health is therefore a state of being well enough to function well physically, mentally and socially. Personal and community issues both matter for health. The health of all organisms will depend on their surroundings or their environment. The environment includes the physical environment. What would happen if no agency is ensuring that garbage is collected and disposed? If there is a great deal of garbage thrown in our streets, or if there is open drain water lying stagnant around where we live, the possibility of poor health increases. Distinctions between healthy and disease-free. Disease, as we can understand from the word, is disturbed ease. In other words, it literally means being uncomfortable. Disease and its causes. Let us now understand how a disease is caused. When there is a disease, either the functioning or the appearance of one or more systems of the body will change for the worse. These changes cause the symptoms. They are nothing but the signs of the disease, like a headache or a stomach pain or a wound with pus. The symptoms provide an idea about the disease. Acute and chronic diseases. The manifestations of disease will be different depending on a number of factors. Diseases may be acute or chronic. Some diseases last for only very short periods of time, and these are called acute diseases. We all know that common cold lasts only for few days. Neither we lose weight, nor we become short of breath, and nor we feel tired all the time because of a few days of cough and cold. Ailments that can last for a long time, even as much as a lifetime, are called chronic diseases. Examples are the infections causing elephantiasis and tuberculosis. They are likely to have a prolonged general poor health. Chronic diseases therefore have a very drastic long-term effect on the people's health as compared to acute diseases. Causes of diseases. There are many levels of causes of disease. Let us see this example. A child is suffering from cholera. This means he is infected by a bacterium. Now, how did this bacterium enter his body? It may be through dirty water. Another surprising thing is that his sister is not affected. Why did he get infected? It may be because he is not healthy or did not get proper nourishment. It is also possible that he has some genetic difference that makes it more likely to suffer. The causes of the diseases may be infectious or non-infectious. Diseases where microbes are the immediate causes are called infectious diseases, like tuberculosis. On the other hand, there are also diseases that are not caused by infectious agents. For example, some cancers are caused by genetic abnormalities. High blood pressure can be caused by excessive weight and lack of exercise. Infectious diseases. Infectious diseases spread by infectious agents. Let us first discuss these agents in detail. Infectious agents. There are a diverse range of microbes. These can be grouped into four main categories, that is bacteria, fungi, protozoa and algae. The disease-causing pathogens may be single-cellular or multicellular organisms such as worms. Let us study some examples of disease-causing organisms. As we know, virus is responsible for causing common cold, influenza, dengue fever and AIDS. Diseases like typhoid, cholera, tuberculosis and anthrax are caused by bacteria. Many common skin infections are caused by different kinds of fungi. Protozoan microbes cause many familiar diseases such as malaria and Kala Azar. Intestinal worm infections as well as diseases like elephantiasis are caused by different species of worms. Each group of infectious agents has its own specific characteristics, like the virus live inside the host cell, divide in these cells and get multiplied. They use the host cell machinery for its multiplication, unlike the bacteria. But taxonomically, all bacteria are closely related to each other. It is clear from this that a drug used to kill a bacterium would be effective against other members of the group, but would have no effect on viruses or fungi. Let us understand the mechanism of action of an antibiotic. These antibiotics act on the biochemical pathways. The bacteria have a cell wall for its protection. The antibiotic penicillin blocks the bacterial processes that build the cell wall. As a result, the growing bacteria become unable to make the cell walls and die easily. Viruses do not use these pathways at all, and that is the reason why antibiotics do not work against viral infections. Infectious diseases, means of spread. Now let us know, how do these diseases spread? They may spread from an infected person to a healthy person by several ways. Disease-causing microbes can spread through the air. This occurs through the little droplets thrown out by an infected person who sneezes or coughs. Someone standing close by breathes in these droplets. The microbes get a chance to start a new infection. Examples of such diseases spread through the air are the common cold, pneumonia, and tuberculosis. Let us study about tuberculosis. It is caused by Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Humans become infected by inhaling the TB bacteria through the air. They implant in the lungs and are attacked by our immune cells. The immune cells attempt to destroy the bacteria. The immune cells prevent the spread of infection to eliminate the bacteria and to heal the infection. Some bacteria remain dormant and start to multiply. The infection becomes uncontrolled and damages the lung tissue and respiratory tract. Prevention. Avoid contact with the infected person. Cure. Infected persons are given a course of 4 drugs which behave in a different way. Roll over the capsules to see what the drugs do. Diseases can also be spread through water. This occurs if the excreta from someone suffering from an infectious gut disease such as cholera get mixed with the drinking water used by people living nearby. The cholera-causing microbes will enter new hosts through the water they drink and cause disease in them. Cholera is an acute infectious disease caused by a bacterium, Vibrio cholera. The symptoms and signs of cholera are a watery diarrhea, vomiting, rapid heart rate, loss of skin elasticity, dry mucous membranes, thirst and muscle cramps. It can be prevented by using only water that has been boiled, water that has been chemically disinfected, or bottled water. Rehydration with ORS or oral rehydration salts fluids is the primary treatment for cholera. Antibiotics are reserved for more severe cholera infections. They function to reduce fluid rehydration volumes and may speed recovery. The sexual act is one of the closest physical contacts two people can have with each other. Not surprisingly, there are microbial diseases such as syphilis or AIDS that are transmitted by sexual contact from one partner to the other. Some animals carry the infecting agents from a sick person to another potential host. These animals are thus intermediaries and are called vectors. In many species of mosquitoes, The females need highly nutritious food in the form of blood in order to be able to lay mature eggs. Mosquitoes feed on many warm-blooded animals, including us. In this way, they can transfer diseases from person to person. Infectious diseases, organ-specific and tissue-specific manifestations. Different species of microbes seems to have evolved their home in different parts of the body. If they enter from the air via the nose, they are likely to go to the lungs. This is seen in the bacteria causing tuberculosis. If they enter through the mouth, they can stay in the gut lining like typhoid causing bacteria, or they can go to the liver like the viruses that cause jaundice. An infection like HIV that comes into the body via the sexual organs will spread to lymph nodes all over the body. Malaria causing microbes entering through a mosquito bite will enter the bloodstream. The plasmodium carried by female Anopheles mosquito infects the liver. These parasites later enter the red blood cells of the host organism and infect them. Click on each of them to study the symptoms and prevention. The virus causing Japanese encephalitis or brain fever will similarly enter through a mosquito bite to infect the brain. The signs and the symptoms determine which region of the body is affected. For example, if the lungs are the targets, the symptoms will be cough and breathlessness. If the brain is the target, we will observe headaches, vomiting, fits or unconsciousness. Our body's immune system also counterattack to any invading microbe. An active immune system recruits many cells to the affected tissue to kill off the disease-causing microbes. This recruitment process is called inflammation. As a part of this process, there are local effects such as swelling and pain and general effects such as fever. Principles of treatment. There are two ways to treat an infectious disease. One would be to reduce the effects of the disease and the other to kill the cause of the disease. We can reduce the symptoms by taking medicines to bring down the fever or minimize the pain. This kind of symptom-directed treatment by itself will not make the infecting microbe go away and the disease will not be cured. We need to be able to kill off the microbes. One way is to use medicines that kill microbes. We have to find a drug that blocks the bacterial synthesis pathway without affecting our own. The antibiotics works on this mechanism. Now the question arises, why antiviral antibiotics are not being made? Well, the answer is that viruses have a few biochemical mechanisms of their own. They enter our cells and use our machinery for their life processes. This means that there are relatively a few virus-specific targets to aim at. Principles of prevention. How can we prevent exposure to infectious microbes? Let us look at the means of their spreading. For airborne microbes, we can prevent exposure by providing living conditions that are not overcrowded. For waterborne microbes, we can prevent exposure by providing safe drinking water. This can be done by treating the water to kill any microbial contamination. For vector-borne infections, we can provide clean environments. This would not allow mosquito breeding. Infectious diseases. Principle of prevention. You don't always get sick when exposed to infectious agents. Have you ever wondered how? Well, here our immune system comes into play. We have cells that specialize in killing infecting microbes. These cells go into action each time infecting microbes enter the body. If they are successful, we do not actually come down with any disease. Therefore, the second basic principle of prevention of infectious disease is the availability of proper and sufficient food. Vaccination. The immune system first sees an infectious microbe, it responds against it, and then remembers it specifically. So the next time that particular microbe or its closest relatives enter the body, the immune system responds with even greater vigor. This eliminates the infection even more quickly than the first time. This is the basis of the principle of vaccination. The vaccine fools the immune system into developing a memory for a particular infection by putting something that mimics the microbe we want to vaccinate against into the body. This does not actually cause the disease, but this would prevent any subsequent exposure to the infecting microbe from turning into an actual disease.